He's not Andy Kaufman. He's not some brilliant trickster that's fucking fooling the world. I think these guys, they start playing a character and then they sort of like Dice Clay it. They become the character.
Yeah.
Remember when Dice Clay? Do you know the Dice Clay used to be Andrew Silverstein? By the way, we're going to try to get Dice on the podcast too. I'm not hating. I love Dice. I had a great talk with Dice the other day. Dice's kid is doing comedy. Dice's kid is 20.
Wow.
And Dice is so proud. And his kid is fucking killing. His kid's like learning. Yeah. And it's fucking great.
What's his name? What's he go by?
What's his name, bro?
Was it Max?
Max? Yeah, I think
Is it Max Clay?
No, I don't. I think does he go by Silverstein?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've seen his name around.
Dice used to be Andrew Silverstein, and then the Dice Man was like this character that he would do on stage, along with a bunch of other characters. He would do like Stallone, and he would do De Niro. He would do like all these characters, like all these impressions, and the Dice Man was one of his characters. Well, the Dice Man just became his main character. That became his thing he did on stage, and then it became him off stage. You know, and I think that happens to guys like Glenn Beck. I think what happens is they start out with this character, and then they get all these people. Thank you, Mr. Beck. You make me so happy. And what you said about Jesus is so important to me and my family. And what you say about our troops is so important to me and our family. And this guy's soaking in this love, and he's putting out a book every 3 days. This motherfucker.
I don't know what that act is strange because. Is it split personalities, Ronnie?
Yeah, I think it is.
You think that it's based on split personalities?
I think it is. I think that some people just, don't you think even a lot of people like actors who, have the characters that they can act with?
Yeah.
Like Dice. Do you think there's someone behind Dice, or is he just Dice?
Dice is like that 24 hours a day.
But he didn't start that way. You know what I mean? It's
you don't
like
think?
No, I think there was... he invented Dice, and then he became Dice.
Wow. See, I don't know. It's just I don't go, that far back with him. I know this. He's Dice 24 hours a day now.
Yeah.
So if he was something different,
Whoever Andrew was in school, that person's gone.
Long gone. Yeah. Dice is exhausting to hang out with. Everything is a problem or an issue with him.
Right.
Everything. It is exhausting, but a lot of fun.
Now you're getting me into character comics, because I think this is a fascinating thing about comedy, too, if you don't mind me playing into this for a second. So people always ask me a lot of times about, comedians that do characters, and there's all sorts of characters. There's the Dice Clay, which is, it's a version of himself, but it's a highly accentuated character. Larry the Cable Guy, highly accentuated character. Bobcat Goldthwait, highly accentuated character.
Jeremy Hotz.
Jeremy Hotz.
Guys.
Mitch Fatel, lesser accentuated, but still a character. These guys who do these characters, it's a very dangerous thing, because what happens is, if you're doing a character on stage now, you can rise like no one rises without really putting a really huge amount of effort in. You tap into a character, and your material is it's like lighter fluid to a flame. It just takes regular material, a character, and just shoots it to the highest possible level where people go crazy over it.
I shoot my jizz! Traveling hooers!
The only problem about it is that it becomes so successful that become locked into it. And then what happens is that people get tired of it. The audiences get tired of it, and you slowly erode, your audience erodes. But then what happens is you'll maintain your following in like 400 seaters for the rest of your life. There's only one. I'll let you interrupt if you want.
I think this is where I think you are right and wrong. I think the comic gets tired of the character before the audience does. Bobcat Goldthwait going out on stage, the last fucking thing he wants to do is scream at everybody. But the audience buys tickets for the sole purpose to see the guy from Police Academy scream at them. They don't realize that Bobcat is an erudite. He's an intellectual. He's a ridiculously intelligent guy who is a super left-leaning, smart guy that has incredible stories and points of view. Now, Andrew Dice Clay, I was a witness. Oh, and if they go to the show and he just goes, "Hi, I'm Bob. It's really nice." They're like, do it. So he's trapped in this character. And Bobcat, and Dice is a guy. I was at the Laugh Factory when he tried to do material. Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
Andrew Dice Clay was at the Laugh Factory. I can't believe I haven't told. This is fantastic. I saw Andrew Dice Clay at the Laugh Factory try to not do his character and do material. And I got to be honest with you, Katz, the shit was hilarious, what he was saying. But that audience at the Laugh Factory was so uncomfortable because all they wanted was him to go, gay, little Danny Woodhead, honey. Let me tell you something. I watched him have a panic attack. And he started yelling, someone bring me juice. He needed orange juice because he thought he was having a heart attack on stage. He was freaking hysterical. He goes on stage and he doesn't do any of the like fake smoking stuff or the, and it's a full house, like 250 people packed to the gills, and fucking Dice walks up. And look, I'll be honest with you. If I'm in the audience and Dice walks up, I want Dice. I don't want Andrew, whatever.
Silverman.
I don't want Andrew Silverman to, and if I go see Bob and stuff, I want that crazy shit. So I think these guys become prisoners of their characters, and I think they get tired of it before their audiences do. Dice, there's a group of like Persian women in the front row, and they are dressed out like everything's on display, right? And the whole time, Dice, what he's saying was really funny. I'm paraphrasing, but he goes, my kids want to go to the park, right? They're like, we want to ride bikes. He's still doing the voice, but he's clean. And for some reason, it was so hysterical to me, the clash of these two worlds. To me, it was working. He goes, so I got to put the bikes in the truck. I'm the Dice man. What do I know about bikes? He goes, I put a bike in the truck. I scratch my arm. I got bike chain grease on my pants. And then we go to the park. And the whole ride there, they're going, wait till we get on our bikes. Wait till we get on our bikes. I am weeping in the back. I'm laughing. And I think Dane was there too. We were laughing so.
What's the crowd doing?
The crowd was so uncomfortable because it was like they had been tricked. He got introduced as Andrew Dice Clay, and this wasn't the product. You said Cadillac and you brought a Lexus out here. This is too bizarre for words. And he goes, then we get to the park, right? I pull up in a minivan. The Dice Man. In a minivan. And the kids got out, and what do? They're on the seesaw. They're on the slide. They're pushing each other around the swings. And this is where I lose my mind. And he goes, and I holler out the window. I still got my seatbelt on. I go, oh! What about the bikes? Silence. He looks at the front row and he goes, you big-titted animal! And the fucking place explodes. So like I watched firsthand a man break free from his handcuffs. He tried. The guy fucking tried.
I just went to Jim Florentine's wedding, okay? Here's the table at Jim Florentine's wedding. It was myself, Rich Voss, and Bonnie McFarlane, Dice Clay and his new wife, Eddie Trunk the DJ, and Jim Norton. That was the table.
Was the theme Impossible Couple?
And Club Soda Kenny. The table couldn't get insurance if we made a movie. Put it that way. So Dice is there, and he calls me over, almost like the Godfather. I want to talk to you. Come outside. We sit down. He starts telling me about life. And he goes, fucking broads will destroy you. He goes, I'm talking to you like Andrew now, not Dice. It's just me and him. And he goes, my second wife was retarded in the kitchen. She didn't know anything. I said, your fucking mother has 10 brothers and sisters. You can't cook a fucking chicken. What do you bring to the table? Eddie Broad can bang. You need to make a chicken. This is his life advice. And then a fire truck goes by as in Asbury Park, and he got mad at the noise the fire truck made. And like right in the middle of his advice, he goes, oh, come on with the fire. You're putting out a fire. Just go do it. You got to tell me about it with the siren. Yay, I'm putting out the fire. Yay.
That's the way he talks in
It's really how he is?
That's Andrew.
Oh, wow.
That's Andrew.
Oh, that's
I've
fucking
never met
hilarious.
He was so funny. Jim's wife was a sweet woman. Her best friend got up to make a speech. 3 seconds into it, Dice goes, who's this? I want to eat something. Who the fuck is... I laugh like a fucking...
A woman at a mic just makes him fucking crazy.
Andrew Dice Clay, like that's his real name.
Yeah.
You mean Andy Silverstein?
Yeah. Yeah. He would make all the doormen or whatever like create like a wall, and so they'd go from the stage, good night or whatever, and then he'd walk, and there'd be like a barrier. Then he'd go right to his SUV and then go 70 miles.
Sad that your best impression is of Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, I know.
That's the best I've ever seen you do.
Yeah, I know.
You showed real talent in that.
Hey,
You gotta do it.
Get out of here.
Sound like Dice
awful.
with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're a big shot, when you got a guy who just goes around and does impressions of you on the radio, so you don't have to show up for the morning show.
Yeah,
it's like, dude.
But
he's my impression assistant.
He was in the green room, and there was.
I said to my rabbi, "Ooh, you're not Italian either. Hey, come on, rabbi."
No, but he'd made like a stick figure in the green room, and it was a stick figure of him sleeping, and it says ZZZZZ, do not disturb. And so even the club owner was like, I gotta get my bags and stuff out of there, but he's being weird in there, and then so that they knocked, and then he's like, yeah, come on in, and then they go, this is Darren Carter, and then I go, I'm just gonna get my CDs, and then he goes, no, have a seat, and he actually told me to have a seat, and we talked for like 10 minutes, and he seemed like he was open to like meeting people. It seemed like.
Oh, isn't that nice? He's so down to earth.
Yeah.
In those days, there was, what's his name, the other guy that died in a car.
Sam.
Sam Kinison. He was upset. He loved Sam Kinison. Then he hated Sam Kinison. Then he loved the other guy with the black jacket who wanted to be Italian. Oh,
Dice. Wanted to be Italian.
Dice. And Dice was putting 18,000 people in the arena because of Stern. But Sam stepped out of the fucking picture where he shouldn't have stepped out. He should have stood being funny, but he went whoobats. He was taking whatever he was taking. I think, this is only my opinion, when he was driving with the girl in the front, I think he was getting a blowjob, and they went off the fucking cliff. I think so. I met him a few times. He's wonderful. And if you don't have that shit, he can't get a flow going. That's not that mean. But he's his own style. The other guy, the problem with the jackass, what's his name?
Dice, Andrew Dice Clay.
You want to be Italian. He wouldn't give anything to be Italian. See, that's why he wouldn't take the jacket off. Hey, Mama, what's going on? He's a Jew. He happened to be a Jew. For Christ's sakes. Jews are wonderful. Trust me.
Well, his whole persona was a tough guy, and it's hard to find a tough guy Jew. The
last tough guy Jew was Einstein.
You think Einstein?
Yeah, you're fucking right. Did you read his life story?
One more show I want to talk about in this season, man, before we close it out.
Oh, all right.
Is the Andrew Dice Clay episode. That's the one where...
Oh, Andrew Dice Clay? Yeah.
Nora Dunn was like, she walked on the episode.
Yeah, that was a bunch of... Well, what happened was... He was playing stadiums, Andrew Dice Clay. He was playing 20,000 seat arenas.
Fucking huge.
And I know Andrew Dice Clay. He's a very nice guy. And he said, I want to create a character that can play like Elvis, but comedy, and play stadiums. And if you look at his character, that's not him. He goes, John, you really think I don't like gay people? It's ridiculous. I love women. I love men. I don't care. He goes, that's the point of it. It's the character. He goes, it's an idiot. Mm-hmm. And it's a buffoon. And he's really mocking people like that. It's so over the top, huge character,
It's like an Archie Bunker kind of thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's funny, and if you take it serious, well, at the time, people were taking it seriously. So anyway, it's the last season of the show, and I don't think Nora, she caused a lot of trouble and it was very hard to get along with. So they weren't going to ask her back anyway. So it's the last show. So she goes to the press and says, I'm not doing this show. He's against women and I'm not doing it. This is how the press works. So I'm telling you, I'm on the inside of this. They don't know this story. They don't know. It's like she's just doing it to get press. It's her last hurrah. They're not asking her back on the show. And if she had gone to Lauren first and says, I don't want to do the show because of him and he offends me, I'm not doing it, I guarantee you Lauren would have said, okay, you don't have to do it. He wouldn't have said that to anyone else, but to her, he'd have said, okay. But she didn't do that. She goes to the press. So he gets there. The next thing you know, everyone now, the National Organization for Women, they jump on the cause. This one jumps on the cause. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. This is why Nora's doing it. And they're doing comic relief, which they would do every year. They're doing it that Saturday. And Lauren's pissed about that because Saturday Night Live has to set their schedule like a year ahead. So they know, they go, why would you be right across the street at Radio City Music Hall doing a show right when we're doing a live show also, that you couldn't have done it this weekend or the weekend after? They could have, but they didn't. And then we're doing the show, and Andrew's like, does nobody want to work with me? He goes like, what's going on? And we go, look, it's not you. Or it was the second to last show. Mm-hmm. And then we're going like, we're doing the show. And we're like, well, where's Nora? Oh, she's across the street doing press at Comic Relief. And I remember Jen goes, what the fuck? So we're all here doing the show. We look like idiots. Like we're against women. We're doing the show. And she's over there slamming the host this week. I mean, it was really bad. It was like betrayal and, it's like, and by the way, when Sam Kinison hosted, he did the show. He exploded. The next week they had him back to host the show. And I'm on the show and he goes, John, this is my friend Dottie. Short for Dorothy, Dottie. I go, oh, hello, Dottie. I go, Sam, Dottie, isn't that like Seika, the porn queen? Yeah. Oh, she's your friend? Yeah. Oh. Dottie's there. Nora did the show there. All of Nora's characters, Babette, Pat Stevens, they're idiot women. They're women that are idiots, but she's for women. But Andrew Dice Clay, no, I can't work with him. So it just exploded. It was crazy. And you saw all these organizations jumping on, having no idea what's really going on. And we're all like, this is insane, the press and everything. And the show was very funny. We did a spoof of Raging Bull, which he came up with, that was very funny. And so we did the show. And then the next week was our last show, and Nora's back. And everyone they just wouldn't speak to her.
She got the cold shoulder?
Oh, yeah, like iceberg. And we're just looking at her going, thanks. Because she just made us look like we're like sellouts for doing the show with him. And it's our job. Right. We don't pick the host, But
did you?
I don't set the tax code. Anyway, so I didn't ask him to lie. I just pointed it out.
Anyone else see the commercial for Arsenio Hall coming back to late night?
Is he still not back yet? What the fuck's he waiting for?
I know, the big fucking thing. I think I heard about this a year. Yeah.
What years was he on originally?
89 to 94.
That's
He was only on 5 years? I mean, he had Ali on. Do you remember when he interviewed Ali? It was a tough interview because Ali was talking then, but not. It was a really hard interview because Ali was so soft. And then fucking Mike Tyson comes out and in the middle of the interview and sits next to them.
I do remember that.
That was fucking.
And they all just
before
pointed,
the internet.
They all pointed and laughed at Ali. It was unbelievable TV.
There was Clinton coming out playing the saxophone.
Oh, right.
Yes.
That was huge. And then Dice coming out. Hey, you put yourself out there. Dice actually started weeping.
Breaking down. So this was SNL with Nora Dunn, right?
Yeah, that fake bitch.
I forgot what happened. He was hosting, and she had a problem with him hosting or something.
She was hosting, and she
was hosting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dice was the guest host.
And Nora Dunn was a cast member at that point.
Hold on, somebody that knows is coming in.
Thank you, Kenny.
Someone that knows.
I feel like this clip needs a little bit of a setup for the people.
Sinead O'Connor was the musical guest.
Right. Oh, he was part of that whole thing?
She was the first one, and then Nora Dunn jumped on the bandwagon.
They said they wouldn't be on with him?
Yes.
So Sinead didn't do the show?
No, neither. But
and Dunn
was the first one.
And Dunn said, yeah, I'm not doing the show this week either.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah.
It helped her career.
Yeah.
She's nowhere. Like, how fucking hateable is Nora Dunn for that?
Oh, fuck her.
You fucking fake bitch.
And comedians are supposed to have more of an open mind about shit.
Was she a comedian or just a sketch com? I know nothing about her.
Well, I mean, she lived in
what
that
Andrew
world,
told
though.
Me?
Huh?
He saw Sinead O'Connor backstage combing her hair, and then she pulled her pants up.
What was she, combing her coat hair or something? Don't make no sense.
It's just the enjoyment that comes on his face.
He really is just a happy guy when he's telling those little stories.
when he's reminiscing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe that was the first time they used the delay, I'm pretty sure.
On SNL?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, after the MTV Awards, yeah.
So Dice got a lot of shit for that.
Dice is
yeah.
They took Nora Dunn's side for the most part.
Yeah, that was in May of 1990.
Colin raised a good point about how, and this was Colin said something about how all the women's groups came after him, but they really what they wanted to do was go after rap. They just didn't have the fucking courage to do that, so they went after him instead. Good luck. And they were right. And and Colin was right. That is what they did. They targeted Dice, knowing he was a comic. But Dice, I really think was the start of like the big push of political correctness started with Dice, because it annoyed people so much that he was doing so well and being so famous. But I can't think of real political correctness catching on before him.
If people want to read a story about him, he's featured in the July issue of Playboy.
Oh!
Somebody else might be mentioned also.
Whoa! Baby Club Soda Kenny.
Huh? Pseudonym.
Of course.
I saw. What did the Nim do to you?
Good one, Chip.
Thanks a lot, KS. I saw Dice this weekend when I was in Vegas. I went and saw him on Friday night. I forgot. Yeah, we were off. I mean, it was the night before UFC, so I went and saw Andrew and Club Soda.
Yeah, words back.
It's C.
What?
See what?
What's the K stand for?
See your way out of this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It's an A and B conversation. So see yourself into a fucking hole, you cocksucker. Jesus. Piece of garbage.
Eat your peanut butter and jelly like a third.
Yeah, how old are you? 37 or something?
That doesn't make sense.
It's just a third grader, you illiterate.
So I went to see Andrew and he performed. He was very funny. And then afterwards, his son's band, LA Rocks, played at the Hard Rock, and they were fucking good, man.
Oh yeah,
they're good.
They were really good, yeah. And they have a bassist now, so it was like a three of them, and it was all like family and friends.
Cool.
And then people were kind of filtering in from outside and coming in and watching and digging it, and it was really cool to watch. They're definitely going to do something.
Oh wow!
And he was so proud.
Of course.
But it was nice. It was really nice. I was glad I was there for it. But he looks good. Dice looks good, man. He lost weight. Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, he's going to be in the new Woody Allen movie.
I heard.
Louis C.K.'s in it also.
Yeah.
A lot of big stars.
Yeah.
So this is 1990.
Oh yeah. So there's the setup. So it was the Norton controversy.
Yeah.
Is this when he cried? This the one?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, you don't like this? You thought it was bad, right?
Sad.
Oh.
It's sad, or it hurt him?
Oh no, that's for real. Those aren't. You know.
Oh no, I know those. It's a real moment, but he didn't plan on that, right?
No way.
He got caught. You know, this is like months of. You know, this is right after his big arena tour.
Right.
All right. He just lost his movie career.
Right.
He got blackballed after Fort Fairlane because of all the pressure from the gays. You know, the misogynistic people.
Oh boy.
People.
And Dice's thing, like this was like, I think, was this the first? I hate to say crack in the armor, but there was like, was this the first time people saw him kind of just being
chink in the armor?
Yeah, actually, I should have said chink in the armor.
Yeah.
Was this the first time that anybody saw like the real guy?
Yeah, the first and only time.
Oh man, that was it, huh?
Because I think that he probably, as like it would have been better for him if he had kind of let people see a little more of that first, and not necessarily through something this extreme and this much of a departure.
Yeah, I think he should have never. You know, well, you know, you can't help it.
Yeah,
but I think the Dice character that he portrays doesn't do that.
But if he had just, I mean, like, say he had talked a bit more and let people see how silly he is and all that stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Well,
and just kind of.
Yeah, okay, I got you. The real Dice.
Yeah, like if you talk to him now, he'll talk a little bit more real and, you know.
He's a regular guy. He just knows how to curse good.
Yeah.
Now, the curse words don't mean shit anymore. Point. I'm watching your buddy there, Dice Clay. All right, I like Dice Clay personally. He was funny when he did the poetry. I watched him on television a couple of weeks ago. He's terrible. He's the fucking worst comic that ever walked out with a jacket trying to be Italian, and he's Jewish. And I'm talking to the set. I said, son, listen to me. You lost it. But he was wonderful in the Woody Allen movie, so he's got to go to that. Stay away from comedy, because you're a disgraziata. And a disgrazia, ladies and gentlemen, means you're not funny, you're a disgrace to comedy. How fucking dare you go out and say, excuse me, sir, is that your wife? Did you eat a pussy yesterday? Who gives a shit? First of all, the ugliest thing in the world is a pussy.
Uh-oh.
It looks like a bunch of rolled in rubber bands. That's what you're trying to fuck. There's no class out there. And again, with Dice Clay, personally, I like him. But Dice, you're a good actor. Get off that comedy. You're a disgraziata.
I disagree. Dice, and I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I love him as a comic. I really do.
Well, because you're lonely.
That's true. I am lonely, but I do love him as a comedian.
Listen to me. And I love you. You have a right to love him and like him. But what I saw on that television, I'm not a prude. I've heard all the language. But he has no rhythm. He has no feel for being funny. He ran out there like he wanted to. And I'm saying, wait, you're not getting the laughs you're supposed to. You can't go back to the old shit. Now, the kind of money he made, he should have got a whole brand new act. So go for $1 million fucking dollars. That would bring him another 20. But he's a cheap son of a bitch. He don't want to change. I would turn around. I don't need a writer because I'm a brilliant fucking comic. I got things to say 24/7. I should get a network, not these fucking guys.
Is it okay for Denzel Washington to play a murderer and a gangster in a movie? It is, right? Okay. Why is it not okay for Tracy Morgan to portray a guy who's pretending that he would stab his son if he was gay?
Right.
Because he's not telling the truth. He's obviously doing a character that is like completely over the top and says ridiculous shit all the time. That's his shtick. Yeah, I think Tracy people have to understand that there's people that want to see him do that. You might not like it, but it's like Dice. I love Dice. Yeah. I've always loved Dice. I want to see him go fucking bananas. It's a form of entertainment, and if he does it about Italians, which I am, I will laugh. I will laugh along with it because I know, if he's making fun of us, it's mostly true shit,
right?
But for whatever reason, some people want to pretend that some of his ridiculous, over the top stereotypes aren't funny. It's like it's a hilarious character. This character who fucking hates everything.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great entertainment.
You don't swallow my load, you chew it. Who takes that seriously?
Exactly. Why would you be angry at this guy? Why? I mean, this is entertainment. It's comedy, and it's a valid form of comedy. And this is where it gets weird. It's like when a guy's creating art, he gets on stage and he does stand up. He's not trying to fucking piss people off. He's just going with this is one of the styles of comedy. You say completely outrageous shit. He's a character. He's playing a crazy, accentuated character. He gets into a zone and he does this thing on stage and he says like really offensive shit and it's fucking funny and I enjoy it. It's art.
Or even when you're just being yourself and exploring a ridiculous concept.
Right.
But people never stick up for that. And the same people that would defend Mapplethorpe or any other form of art, Piss Christ in a jar, are the same. There's the same mentality that will attack Tracy or that will attack Imus for what he said or Michael Richards. It's a fraudulent stance, and every side does it, and it drives me fucking crazy.
I think it's because people have this idea. A lot of people, I should say, have this idea that if you don't agree with them, you're wrong. And if you're against them, you don't. It's not like you can enjoy different things or have different ideas about different standards of living, what you should and shouldn't be able to do. No, it's not that. It's if you don't agree, you're wrong. And people have to understand that different people like different shit.
Right.
Andrew Dice Clay, a controversial figure to many. I like Andrew. I think he's funny. I was a doorman at the Comedy Store in 1986, and I happened to be a doorman right when Kennison was peaking and Dice was right behind him in terms of becoming the biggest comedy stars in the world. Now, when I saw Dice, he was doing his nursery rhymes. He was doing his cigarette shtick. He had the full artillery. He had the full uniform, the Dice uniform. And I never understood, because I left the Comedy Store, I never quite understood why he was the one that got crucified by certain groups for being a certain thing, because I always saw him as sort of a spectacle, almost a complete character. But I was always sort of impressed with the uniqueness of his presentation. He was definitely a character, and I was always, quite frankly, intimidated by him. Back then, I didn't feel that he was the friendliest guy in the world, but then again, I didn't know him. I was just a kid working the door, and he was a guy doing the Dice thing. Now, I really had not seen him for probably about 15 years. And I hadn't really thought much about it. I know he did a reality show. I know he had his troubles, whatever was publicized, but I really hadn't seen him do comedy. And I think I talked about this on the show. I was at the Comedy Store one night watching one after another comic go do roughly the same thing up there. I could have closed my eyes and I wouldn't have known the difference between them. And then Dice walks in, no longer wearing the outfit, just being who he is, at the age he's at, got up on stage for 45 minutes. I laughed my ass off. I was so happy to be in the hands of a professional. I got a real kick out of what he was saying. He was just talking about his life. I'd never seen him like that. I hadn't seen him live in probably 15 years. And I was actually thrilled to see him. And the one thing I never realized about Dice, because I don't know anything about him other than what I see, and this happens a lot with me, I make up a life for these guys that I think is right. But I wouldn't have ever known that he was a father. Not only is he a father, he's got 2 kids. One of them is doing comedy, Mac Silverstein. And he's a well-adjusted kid. I don't know why I just couldn't get my head around that.
Why don't you do a dramatic reenactment of a Dice conversation with Kenny in 1991?
91? Hey, Kenny, throw this guy out of here. I'm trying to eat my butterfly filet mignon. Hey, waiter, this isn't butterfly.
Did you see him on that Trump show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for the one episode. They should have had him on for the whole thing.
I know.
They should have had him on. It's so stupid.
He didn't help us. He was acting up.
Yeah. I know. That's what
He
you
didn't
want.
He didn't want to make the cupcakes. He said, I'm from Brooklyn. We don't make cupcakes.
It's like, make cupcakes.
Just make the cupcakes so you can be on the show a while.
I'm not gonna sit here and make cupcakes. All right, Donnie Trump. Hey, Donnie Trump, why don't you bring some bagels? Oh, he was yelling at Donnie for the bagels.
Yeah.
There was a time we went to dinner with him, and he got the butterfly fucking filet mignon, and the waiter he had this poor motherfucker running around.
Which way?
Which way? Medium or well done? Medium? Yeah! You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So the poor guy comes up, he goes, Dice goes, I want a baked potato, and I want the skin rolled around on the grill, so it's golden brown. You hear me?
Remember? Because he's there like, it's like the half Italian bully and the half like Jewish kvetching customer at the restaurant.
That's exactly what he is. So the waiter comes over and brings this shit, and I guess the potato wasn't rolled around on the grill. And believe me, they brought this shit out so fucking fast to keep Dice happy. And then he's like, excuse me, the potato... Do you remember when you were here before? Do you remember when I told you? He's talking about it like it was years ago, and the guy had ordered like fucking 5 minutes before. Do you even remember? And all I'm thinking is everything is getting loogies. Yeah. Just fucking clams are being spit on everything. At the whole table.
Yes.
The guy's jerking off the fucking, the fucking hollandaise sauce has just come.
Yeah.
What is this? Excuse me.
Right, and then his steak was undercooked.
Oh yeah, it was undercooked. And then he wanted it butterfly. He gets it butterfly, and then goes, "No, it's too well done."
He sent the steak back, no joke, 3 or 4 times. Yeah. To the point where everyone was around the grill because the grill was in the open. They're all in a circle staring at the steak and making a decision. Like, I think this might do it this time. Wow.
Did they have to throw away like 3 steaks?
Everything. He had everyone in a complete panic. Not one guy telling him to shut the fuck up.
And I think even when he got the steak, they asked him how it was, and he goes, "Yeah, it'll do." Right? He wasn't even happy with it.
But he was, though.
And then he ordered the dessert, the chocolate moussey dessert thing that takes like a half. You got a half hour.
The lava cake.
And then he's telling everybody, "Okay, don't touch it. Everybody, take a spoonful. Now shut your eyes and just taste." And he shuts his eyes and he's like, And I'm dining with a fucking retard. This guy's fucking retarded. Shut your eyes. How old are you?
The spoon falls out of his hand because he can't take it.
It's delicious. Now open your mouth. Here comes the airplane. No, don't feed me, Dice. I'm feeding you. Choo choo. Choo choo.
And then we went sweatshirt shopping.
Oh, yeah.
But he insisted we get double XLs.
Double XL, Everlast.
I was never able to wear my sweatshirt.
No.
And it was a nice sweatshirt. It was just the wrong size.
It was giant.
By a lot.
I remember
it was a fucking snuggie.
Oh, you were annoying him because you were walking around and he was kind of. You kept going. Oh my God, Andrew Dice Clay! Oh my God, it's Dice!
Times
and he
Square.
was like, he didn't want people bothering him.
No.
No matter, like, we would walk another 30 feet, and he'd go, "Oh my God, Dice! It's Dice!
That Dice?
Is that Dice?" Yeah, he was really irritated because people kept approaching him. I'm like,
Nice, I'm a large, not a double XL. No, you got to get the double XL.
You want this one.
That thing sat in my dresser for years. I couldn't wear it
And then
once.
he's haggling like he's in a market in Bangladesh with the fucking guy. It's Times Square, and he's there. I'll give you 25 for it. No, it's fucking. The price is the price here. We're in America, dummy. Not some rolling fucking market in Iraq.
the best fucking Dice discount was when he got a video camera cheaper. And he told me the way he got it cheaper was he walked up to the guy and he goes, "You got to give me a discount." And the guy's like, "Why?" He goes, "I think of you guys every time I drive by." He has this fucking way.
Yeah, he does.
of getting shit. He will take free anything. And like I get embarrassed really easy. You've never seen him not give a fuck about uncomfortableness.
No, and it has nothing to do with saving money.
No!
It has nothing to do. It's the principle of the thing. He just wants to haggle and win.
Yeah. He just wants a show wherever he goes.
Yeah, he's putting on a show.
Well, Jimmy used to do something funny, too, if we'd be on the road. And we'd, walk into a place, and Jimmy'd come in first and open the door and go, "Excuse us, big store coming through."
I would always walk into a place really, like if there was a few people shopping, I'd walk in and go, "Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be starstruck." But he loved it. Like I would be mortified if someone said that. He would just walk in like that's the way it should be when you enter.
Were people starstruck?
What?
Were people starstruck?
Sometimes they were. Other times they were older, and they're like, "Who's the fucking?
What?
Who's the creepy fucking entourage?
Who's the fat Elvis?"
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was Kenny or Happy I was talking about. But yeah, he loved it.
But came back to Celebrity Apprentice. All he had to do was behave a little bit.
Yeah.
He would be the star of that show.
That's what you want, the loose cannon. Someone like that. Who cares if the fucking guy dresses in a suit and tries to impress Donald Trump?
They really blew it.
Rather have the guy like Dice just fucking everything up, not making the cupcakes. His fucking cupcakes.
Donald Trump's the only one that takes the reality show seriously. What the fuck? Like, these guys are really going to have a multi-million-dollar contract with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Changing their careers. It's a silly show. Keep Dice on there, you dummy.
But nobody wants a quitter, Opie.
Yeah,
he
that's
implied that he was going to quit.
Quitting?
Yeah.
No, I'm not being a quitter, but I'm just saying.
He does a marshmallow roast with me, Sly, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And John Travolta.
When he did the Young Comedian special.
Yeah.
They took my hot dog, Charlie. And his Pacino's great because I even know Andrew Dice Clay is underrated in one regard, and that is you got to give a guy credit for changing the landscape of the entire genre. He sold out Madison Square Garden. If you're going to give credit for the Beatles landing at JFK, or the fact that Zeppelin, they just booked stadiums and they assumed we would all fill them up, and we filled them up. And when they came over in a Led Zeppelin jet, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But Dice played Madison Square Garden. And you can just say Dice, anyone on the street, his Q rating to this day, 30 years, not really doing anything but clubs in Vegas and stuff, is through the roof. But his impressions were spooky. And when he was doing you guys, before he spoke, I knew what movie. When he turned around to do his Pacino, he was real super nervous because somebody stole a hot dog. He was definitely doing Sydney Dog Day Afternoon Pacino, like, all right, well, Vietnam veterans, killing don't mean nothing to us. Like, you could tell what movie he was doing Pacino in, and he was doing the real raw shit. Like, not now, everyone does an impression of the impression of the impression, but I don't think he got enough credit for that. But
good for you. I'm with you, pal.
Me and Jim talked before the show. One of our favorite albums is Day the Laughter Died, and this was one Rick Rubin produced.
That's the one he taped the Dangerfields, right?
He taped parts 1 and 2 there, but part 1 is just a fucking it's a great comedy album because he was, you know, at the kind of the peak of his career or just about, and just kind of went on and was bombing.
Really?
But it was funny. Yeah, it was like a guy working on material in front of a crowd that wasn't his crowd.
That's very interesting that he would release that. That shows confidence.
No, because he went from playing the guard and did all those arena dates, and the first Dice album, which went like platinum, to release a double album where he's bombing. That was his next album he put out. I remember all my friends getting it, like, why would he put this out? There's no jokes on here. And I got it right away. I'm like, this is fucking genius.
Because probably everywhere he was going on and just destroying. And it's like, you know, as a comic, sometimes you like a little bit of the struggle or the challenge. Is this going to work? You don't just want to go up there and have them yelling out your punchlines like it's a fucking rock show. My favorite line in that whole bit is "blow me for Pete's sake."
I know.
What a great thing to say to someone.
He does the best girl voice ever.
Yeah, it's
for a comic.
It's completely humiliating.
Yeah, it's so degrading.
No woman can enjoy that voice representing her.
You heard Dice breaking down during that Unmasked, and now on the Interrobang, you can see the video of it, the video of where he gets so emotional during the interview. That's up on the Interrobang.
You know, the thing I love about that, because no one knew that he was going to get that emotional, but in the room there, you could have heard a pin drop. Chris, you were in the room working the camera at that time.
Yeah.
And the tension in that room.
There was like a force that came in. And you became so acutely aware of what was happening.
That's why I love when people come into the Unmasked. Here, like, you're a fan of this guy for 25 years, and you end up seeing him in a way that you never have before, and the energy is just tremendous.
I'm going to remember that moment forever, being in that room, seeing him.
As a longtime fan of his?
I love Dice. After that Unmasked, I'll love him forever. Hearing Dice talk about the Dice character, not as Dice, was so tripped out to me. And I love Dice. The way he developed it, the way he came at it, I love him. He's amazing.
Well, you know what was really interesting, because people were saying, so he dropped the Dice thing? And I go, no, I don't think he ever does. It's like water flowing, you know what I mean? Like, the water flows, like, he talks about how crazy he was as a kid, and you hear the joy in his voice. Like, what was I thinking? I mean, the part that he talked about the young comedian special,
Rodney,
and the way he treated Rodney, and the buying the ad, and he's laughing at the audacity of what he did, but at the same time, he's also, it reminds you of Dice, and then it doesn't remind you of Dice. And you know, he talks about his parents and his kids, and it kind of flows back and forth. Whoever Andrew is and whoever Dice is, it's certainly more complex than an actor who plays a character, you know?
Yeah.
Fez is not that dissimilar, where you start to play a character and then called himself that off air. You know, who Dice is and who Andrew is, it's so connected, you know, and it moves back and forth.